Okay, I wanted to bring something to your attention, and this is one of my pet peeves. It's why I don't like reading pattern guides, but I'm going to teach you guys how to do it because you need to know how to do that. But the reason I don't is because sometimes the pattern companies make a mistake, and I'm going to show you one of the mistakes that this pattern company made. Now notice it says to pin front section and back together at sides. Then it says to make a 5/8 inch narrow hem on front opening and lower edges. Now I want you to see the picture of what they ask you to do. Remember I showed you how to fold it in and top stitch it down? Well, there's that front section right here folded in. But notice they also said and the lower edges. So they want you to fold the lower edges up first too. But look here, this is where your front and your back come together at. So in order for you to fold that hem up on the front and the back, they've got to be sewn together. Well, they never tell you right here to stitch. They just say pin front section and back sections together as sides. So you have to kind of be careful when you're getting patterns because they do make mistakes on them. So in this case, I'm going to write something. I'm going to write in here stitch 5/8 because we know that a 5/8 stitch is your standard stitch. So I'm going to show you what this pattern should look like. Now what I have added to the pattern guide is pin the front section and back sections together, and then I wrote in stitch 5/8 seam allowance because they didn't tell you to do that. So before we do this seam on the side or the front of the skirt, and before we hem it, because they're actually telling us to hem it now, we're going to do this stitching down here. And then I'm going to also show you how to finish this off because that's another thing the pattern companies don't tell you. Fabric has a tendency to unravel. So you need to do some finishing on your garment so it looks nice and neat. And we're going to talk about a couple of ways to do that. Actually, there's 3 ways to do it, but we're only going to focus on 2. So right now, let's get on our sewing machine and let's sew the sides together 5/8 inch seam allowance before we do this hemming.